even on a lower time frame, a 15-second trader, you are going to be waiting for optimal moments where it actually makes sense to trade. And over time, double randomness plus no system leads to failure. So stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, and right now, if you guys notice, we're in a stage 1, right? So price is likely gonna keep going sideways and then make a setup for us to take higher on a new stage 2 to keep moving higher. Here's gold. Very recently, we've been following this thing over and over and over again for months now, for weeks now, and gold has been on our list for a while. It's showing that it's being bought up heavy. So that means that we're on the cusp, we're in the cusp of moving to a stage 2, literally right now. So gold, at least on the 4-hour, has entered a market condition where it actually is now potentially worth it to start following it. Because now you're gonna get those kind of moves that then start and deliver your accumulation. I mean, gold's extremely bullish. It looks great. It wants to take out this high. It wants to keep going. We've been talking about this thing for a while. This is gonna get liquidated. We are going to like what, 2021, 2170, 2160, something around there for sure. Gold looks good. You've just started the weekly stage 2 for sure, right? Which is great to see. So like if you're entering something on like a 4-hour, a daily, like this should start providing a setup. Like this might even provide a setup early week and then maybe make a move to like 2170 or something like that. Yeah, gold looks good. Someone said something about oil. Right, there's no reason right now that gold is not going to make a move to at least like 2300, 2400. Then there's nothing stopping this thing. I've been talking about this thing for weeks now. When this first broke out right here, you guys might remember, when it first started coming up, I said, there's no reason it can't go to 2200. Guess what? It went sideways. Even better. There's no reason now it can't go up to like 2400. So that's all. My analysis is done. I know this thing is bullish. It's been showing bullish. It's moving bullish. The context is bullish. It wants to go bullish. Multiple time frames are bullish. If it can be clean and give me a good setup, I'm going to try and eat that up. Watch for a stage 2. You take it up. You manage the trade into profit. Comes back. Stage 1. Watch for the stage 2. You take your trades. Now you're managed. Now you're looking to take it where? Higher. What's it going to do? Is that any different from anything it did over the last fucking how long? Since 1978, so over the last 50 years, is that any different from what it's done? No. What kind of move can this make? Maybe something like this. I mean, like this move is pretty large. I don't think it'll make that big of a move, but yeah. The gold is probably going to reach up into like the 2500. 2500 is where gold's probably going to reach up into and then stop. Because that's how markets move. You're continuing. Because again, it just needed to pause for the stage 1 again. It needed to absorb this move right here. And now it's ready to make its ascend to around 24, 2450, 25. Again, like, and I didn't need any random predictionary models to do this. I didn't need to read the fundamentals of the world. The interaction with the moving averages, and you have the chop of the actual price, which would basically be institutional based structure, which is section 1 material. Those are your 3 things you're looking for. This guy said, I already watched it 3 times. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, guys, like you should all see this. Like, so now you know, on average, gold is heading towards this. Okay, that's like, you can keep that in your mind. On average, that's where it's gonna head. So really, like, you know, stage 1, stage 2. It's probably gonna go through stage 1 now, stage 2. Stage 1, or longer term, stage 1, stage 2. Stage 2. That could be made up of multiple. Okay, this is what price on gold is almost guaranteed to do. 1703. Yeah, look at this, okay? So the guy that asked about stage 1, stage 2s, right? Like, I drew this out for the team, 1703. So March 17th, this is where we were. I expect a stage 1. I don't want to trade this at the end of a stage 2. I'm envisioning this as a stage 2. Can it do this? Yes. And then I just won't trade it. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm waiting for a stage 1 to enter now. And then it happens, right? A lot of you probably saw this, and we actually all traded this. Most of us traded this, right? On the daily, right? There it is. This was that stage 1. Then it went into the stage 2, and then it started setting up again. And then we went higher, higher, higher. And guys, we reached our value. I think you guys remember me saying 2400, 2300. Or I said 2300, 2500, like this, right? Something like that. And now again, to the other guy, this is a stage 2 completion. I would be waiting now for some kind of stage 1. Let it catch the rising 10 EMA or this one. Let it go sideways or sideways for a while. And then what's going to happen? New moves will be built from it. New moves will start going. That's it. Or it'll fail down and we won't touch it. But if it doesn't fail down, I hope you're all starting to see the same thing we just discussed today. You create an unfair advantage in terms of where you get to make money and where you get to stay out if it starts doing not the thing you want. It's been on our list since around this point here. And since around here, we followed this long. Around here, we continued to follow it long. So it came down, we stopped watching for a bit. And then around here, we started following it long again, but it failed back down. So I stopped watching it. And then we started watching it long again after this break right here occurred. And since then, we've maintained being long on this and have been long on this for a while. And it's been a beautiful, beautiful run higher. So recently, what I did is this weekend, this Sunday, I went over what I would want to see from gold with my team. And gold, it was around here on Sunday, and I said that I'd want to see it start shaping up. And you can see very quickly where I expected it to start shaping up if I was going to get an entry. And I spoke about specifically how if we broke down below this low, it's likely just going to fall off for a while and there's nothing to do. And what's cool is you're seeing the same thing represented here as I've spoken about in many of my videos before. So make sure you've checked them out, but I'll talk about it here today as well, where having a bias on a market and having an understanding about where the market may want to head does not determine how many losses I'm going to take if I'm wrong, right? Notice how despite being extremely long on this market and wanting to get position long and me being completely wrong the entire week of it actually delivering this given week or how it would deliver, the fact that I understand where and how I'm going to get involved because price has to prove itself, money has to come into the market to prove that it wants to move higher, that had never happened. If it had occurred, if something like this had occurred, that would set up an opportunity for me to take a loss. Kind of pay attention to what I just said, but if this occurred, then I would have an opportunity to get in and then potentially take a loss. And then that's perfectly fine. But if that doesn't happen, then all that's going to happen is that price is either going to fall off or go sideways, which means that I won't be trading it, which is exactly what you see represented here. Not a single trade was taken all week by me on this individual pair. Similarly, if price did come up and set up and then ended up going, then great. That's what pays for the losses, because over time, as you continue to follow the same methodology, the same edge, you start to understand how money is made, because when you follow that given edge, your losses and wins begin to compound, and over time, your account goes into profit and you get to all-time new highs, and it keeps going and it keeps going, and you're profitable and you make millions, and you're just surprised with how easy everything has become. But it all happens because you started with a few simple rules. And just like you see here right now, right, this is what I had drawn out, and none of that had played out. But as the week went on, I again redrew what I would expect out of price. So around this point here, when price began to fall down and started to kind of fall through these MAs and not be and was not being bought up anymore, I sent this to my team. I said, it has one of two things that it can do now. It can start to accumulate now, and then there will be opportunities up around here as it begins to go higher, or it can keep falling off and then accumulate, and I can get involved around here. And now, most importantly, is we're having the beginning stages of that start to play out. And you can see, I made a little post for my team right here. I said, gold is starting to play out perfectly. So this is my main watch at the moment. Some lower timeframes have already permitted for some beautiful entries. As this continues to shape up, I'll be getting behind this for sure. And I want to specifically in this video focus on this right here. So let's say you are someone that has a lot more time to spend on the charts. Let's say you're someone that has a lot less money in your overall account, so getting involved in a trade has no issues. There's no commission issues or slippage issues. So you're trading like 100K, maybe less, maybe 10K account, 20K account, 50K account, 100K account. So getting involved on a lower time frame is not really an issue where your commissions are starting to really eat away at your profits, and you're not able to now risk a normal multiple of your risk for 1 RR, right? Let's say that's not the case. So what do I mean by lower time frame entries are going to be very much, beautiful already? What I want to do is I want to step back a day. So here we have Friday. You can see as I go back, this is live price right now. I'm just recording this for the sake of explanation. So here's Thursday. Let's go to the beginning of Thursday. So that would be at around 1 a.m. today. Now, personally, you know, I'm in the US, so 3 a.m. is when London opens. So I will start a test today at 3 a.m. I'm gonna go to normal gold, so we have a clean chart, because I don't wanna screw up the chart where I have most of my analysis done for myself, because I leave that on there for myself. And I'm gonna go to 3 a.m. on Thursday right here, just to see if you were actually given opportunities given the current market delivery. Now for today's example, we can either use a 1 minute, we can use a 30-second, we can use a 15-second. And because I like to be fair about these, I'm going to randomize it. I'm going to do a random number between 1 and 3, and I'm not going to click it yet, where 1 is a 15-second, 2 is a 30-second, whoops, 2 is the 30-second. I'm going to show you exactly how to build a full system with timeframes based on the time frame that you choose to trade, whatever they are, and then actually execute a system as well. And 1 minute, okay? So we're gonna roll the dice and we get 1. Fantastic. So we'll be looking at a 15-second chart today. So before we even look at the market here, we have to figure out what are our main time frames of trading. So one is I'm going to go back to the start of London session, or just London, or just the start of the day, because we're just gonna be checking the day today, right? And now we can go to 15-second, and we can ask ourselves, you know, what are the actual timeframes by which we're going to be trading this price action? So 15-second, there it is. We'll put it in a bubble. And now you get to learn the beautiful rule that I teach my mentorship, my members. I give them this entire rule so they can use it to properly, you know, position themselves or create a system around the timeframes they actually want to trade. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take a 6x multiple of that time frame to get this time frame right here. So the time frame, which is right here, is called the entry time frame. So this is the E. This is where you actually enter, okay? Then you have what I call the validation time frame. On the validation time frame, you simply take calculator. You simply take the 15 seconds, you multiply it by 6, and you get 90, so 90 seconds. And you know, that's 1.5 minutes. So we're just gonna type that in, but you know, yeah, 1.5 minutes, and we can round that up as well, because 1.5 minutes is a weird number, so we can make it 2 minutes, okay? And then all you want to do is you want to take a 60x multiple of this for what I call the context time frame, or the higher time frame. This is basically the trick is called EVC. It's just an approach to time frames that should forever fix almost all your time frame related issues, okay? So if I go back over here and I go calculator, and I do the 15 seconds times 60, I get 900 seconds. And that is how many minutes? That's 15 minutes. So very simply, for today's example, for today's price action that we're gonna be looking at and trading, let's assume on a 100K mentfunding account, which is of course mentfunding.com, for very fair one-step evaluation to get funded. Let's just assume that, and we're going to be doing it at 0.5% risk is equal to 1RR. Okay, so that's all we're going to be doing. So we're going to be risking 0.5 risk, 0.5%, which means that 1RR is worth, in this case, $500. So if we lose a trade, or we lose 1RR, we will be losing $500. If we win a trade and we win 1RR, we make $500. If we win a trade and we make 5RR, we make $2,500. So that's really all that's happening there. Let's keep that in mind. Okay, so here we have the general blueprint. Now the first thing that I teach my team to do, generally, before they even look at this blueprint, is the only way to make this blueprint here better is by understanding what other timeframes in association with these are also doing. So one thing that I personally teach my team to do is take a look at the mentfx screener, which is in the premium mentorship and available to everyone because it's a tool, it's a software that I've built out. And you can see here that it's very green. Now, if you don't have access to this, or if you're not part of the team, just click on Sentiment Viewer, and you can also take a quick look at what gold has been showcasing either on the intraday or the daily, and you can play around with these to make it work better for you. And you can see here that at the moment, gold has been showing a very high intraday and daily to be bullish. So we at least have that lining up. So we know that as we follow this, we have a good system. So the first thing we want to do is we actually want to work from higher to lower to figure out where we are, to make sure that everything's in a good context before we even trade it. So we're going to start with the 15-minute, then we're going to look at the 2-minute, then we're going to look at the 15-second for the actual entries, given that everything else is clear and clean. Because again, you have things in place protecting you from losing money or trading in periods of time where you're not going to make money. That's why you have these rules, right? So let's start with that 15-minute and see where we are. So let's delete that. So again, that's a beautiful rule. Let's go to the 15-minute and see what's actually going on. So as we go to the 15-minute here, a few things are apparent and they jump out at you very, very quickly, right? I'm going to go ahead and just kind of copy this and get rid of it so it's not in the way. But a few things jump out at you very quickly right here on the 15-minute. And that is that, one, you are and have been very bullish, right? Prices moved bullish, prices made multiple breaks bullish, but recently, as we can see here, it began to move lower. Based on the previous video, so this is where I actually advise a lot of you that are watching this to pause this video and watch, and once you've seen it, this is gonna make a lot more sense. So price started moving down, and within a market that's already proven to be bullish, so this should all make sense now, it should make sense, make sure you watch that video. So in a market that's already proven to be bullish, based on that higher time frame, and based on that tool that we're using, this is now moving lower and breaking down, and is below the MAs, is making stage 1s and stage 2s to the lower side, and now actually basing and going sideways and moving into stage 1 right here within this area. So we're actually contradicting what we're normally used to seeing. So on this given day at this time, I actually would argue that we should not be trading it whatsoever. And at the same time, if we look at the mentfx structure premium indicator, which is available to all mentfx members, the second you join, you'll get access to this. You just get it assigned to your name and then you'll have it. Is we look down here and price is actually in a redistribution, which is red. No shit, that's a red sign. It's literally in red, it's a red color. So what that shows us is that price is actually likely to keep on falling off or keep going down or even go sideways, because at the moment there is a clash between the higher time frame or the tool and the actual delivery of price, because what we know is that we're waiting for longs. Multiple time frames have shown us that prices want to go long. However, they're not lining up with that yet. So all we can do is wait, because there's no reason to trade. So now you're seeing firsthand how, again, even on a lower time frame, a 15-second trader, you are going to be waiting for optimal moments where it actually makes sense to trade. Because if you're trading everything just because you have a low time frame, well, you should all be aware what happens. When you trade everything, then you trade random action. And when you trade random action, you get random results. And sometimes those random results are good and you feel good and you pass a challenge or you make a little bit of money. But most of the time, the random results are bad. And over time, double randomness plus no system leads to failure and blowing up, right? And that's how it happens for many, many traders. And they go on that cycle for years, for 6 years, 5 years, and then they quit. And they wonder why, they never made it. That's one of the reasons. Nonetheless, it's not clear, right? At the moment, price is below the 200. The 50 is kind of just slopping around. So prices, the orders that are coming into this market are not being bought up in a very clear way. So whatever accumulation or distribution is happening right now, it's not worth trading. And the traders that are sitting here trading random zones and random areas are getting taken out, blown through, losing money. The people that are entering longs or shorts in this market, whether they're right or wrong, ends up taking them out, because again, a choppy wicky market will come and take your stop losses no matter what side of the market you're on. And then a lot of people that do get positioned, let's say long, they get stopped out, and then the price goes in a direction, they go, how am I always wrong, right? How do I always get it right, but I never get the trade? This is where that issue stems from. So we wait. Nothing to do. It's in distribution. It's under the MAs. We wait for price to line up with the things that our tool has shown us. Okay? So we wait. And there's nothing for us to touch. Okay? And then price breaks higher. It begins to move higher. So it's now right at the top of this little range right here. At the moment, it's only broken down and came up once. So it has the chance of becoming accumulation. But right now, I personally would not touch a market that looks like this. So I'd wait. Right? And notice, any trader that you are, a lot of back and forth is occurring. Now, at the moment, you have a market that is now pushed higher, put in some kind of a higher low, whatever you want to call it, institutionally, and began to move higher. So this is also coming from the video that I told you guys to watch. So at least you now have 1, ranges that are moving long. 2, the MAs are beginning to be bought up and are showing overall movement higher. And 3, you have, well, actually you have this clarity, you have the amaze. So overall you have the lineup and the stage 1, stage 2 of now a potential start that could make a move. So this is where I would step down to my validation time frame, which in this case is our 2 minute, and wait for the 2 minute to enter a clear context. So one is, again, I want to ask myself, where is this market? One, it has been kind of going sideways for a while, and as it went sideways, it then flushed out to the lowest point it could have been within that sideways action. And from there, it started its own accumulation, okay? Price began to break higher and higher and moved higher and higher and higher, and then broke down and recently re-broke back up. That in itself is an accumulation or a reaccumulation, which is what you will see at the time live the indicator showed. Price had entered an accumulation, which means that now, as we take a look at this, if you think back to the 3 things that I taught you guys in that video that I showed you guys, right? You have all the things lining up. You have an overall market that is proving to move long. You have a market that has already moved long very heavily. You have stage 1s and stage 2s that are proving to deliver, and now we're in a stage 1 for a potential new stage 2. So we have the ability, if we can get involved, to take this and then hopefully sustain a move that then wants to start moving higher, right? So that's what we would be looking for on this day. And then 3, you have the amaze moving higher and price is bouncing at them, whatever you want to call it, but is being bought up at their averages, which means that large interest, large money is stepping in at these points because it's worthy for them to continue getting involved on the new absorption of supply to continue moving the demand higher, right? So in this scenario here, all we want to do is we want to now jump down lower and look for a reason to get long, right? Because right now, even though we've done all this work, we haven't even touched getting involved. And this is how you're going to see firsthand how I can have a mindset over something or an analysis of a market, be fully wrong, but never lose money. Or other times, finally start being right and then make money on the upside if, my management rules permit it. So now we're going to drop down to our entry time frame, which in this case is a 15-second. And take a look at what's going on here. This is absolutely beautiful. We have overall price proving that it's making stage 1s and stage 2s higher. It has proven that it can do that, right? Stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1. And now we're in a deeper stage 1 of a first move, but also within that, we have the fractals of a stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, right? I'm sorry. Flip it. So stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2. And right now, if you guys notice, we're in a stage 1. Right, so price is likely going to keep going sideways and then make a setup for us to take higher on a new stage 2 to keep moving higher. You can kind of almost see it already, right? You can see it when you start to understand how these concepts work together. Or it can simply fail down, there's nothing for us to do, and we ignore price for the rest of the day or until it starts setting up again. Or price may fail down for a larger term stage 1 and start new stage 2s into stage 1s, stage 2s into stage 1s, and we can get an entry to go long. So you might notice how a lot of these drawings that I have and how I predict price over and over again, where that comes from. So if I was to predict price, the way I would look to get involved in this is either price comes up, comes down, and then gives me a setup here, or price falls down, comes up, right, comes up, and then maybe like gives you a setup around here. You can foresee what price needs to do for myself to get a personal entry based on my criteria, which is an ICI, a buy stop of a demand zone, a buy stop of an MB. That's what it is. You're buy stopping new demand, and as you get involved in that, this is the entry, you protect just a portion of it, you look to take money and make money on the new delivery of a stage 2. That's how we do it. So you can see now how if price just does this now, it doesn't matter because I don't lose money. All I need to see to get an entry is one of these 2 things. So let's actually see if on this day, this is actually today, so this is Thursday, and right now is Friday 2 a.m., which is why I'm a little bit tired. But nonetheless, this is Thursday, the morning of Thursday. I was not watching price all day and I don't even trade these timeframes anymore. But I want to show you what might have been available to you and how you can use the rules that are taught here to get involved. Because again, we went through the process. All the timeframes are lining up. Now we're on the entry time frame and everything is still lining up and moving beautifully. Let's see if we can get an entry. So price begins to slow down and moves higher. You can see that yes, even though it's making a setup and we can buy stop here, it's not clear. It's not here. It's not here. It's not in line with what I want to see. So because of my personal rules, and this is what you're developing as a trader, are rules for yourself to make money or take edge out of the market, I am not going to take anything here. So I'll wait. Okay, and then price flushes out. And again, we know that it's likely can do this even with the flush out. So we're going to wait and see if it wants to come up and give us an entry. Let's take a look. Right? And then price kind of fails down and begins to move long again. So I will ignore this because now it didn't make a setup along the exact kind of lines I was waiting for and was hoping for. Instead, it did something a little bit kind of weirder and different. It went into distribution, but then just now it rebroke higher to create an accumulation. So now again, some of you could have entered this long. There's nothing wrong with that actually, but I'll personally just wait for it to come down and then make a setup for me. And I'll simply take an entry on that if it wants to do that. So hopefully it comes down a little bit here, just like that, right? Comes up now, and again, now I know exactly what I want to see to take an entry. Price would need to come up and likely do something like this to give me an entry. I know where I'll be getting involved if price is to make a setup like that. Otherwise, I know that I won't be touching a single thing on this because it's not clear where price wants to go. And you can see it begins to break back down and enters distribution. So I get to now sit on the sidelines again. And now you're seeing how even as a lower time frame trader, you're still waiting and you're still patient around the times where you should be trading. You're not sitting there randomly taking trades just because some kind of pattern is met. You're waiting for a very specific moment in time based on the analysis that you've conducted. And we know that the higher time frames are good, so we're free to keep watching this on this given time frame if it wants to set up. And you can see price enters a multi back and forth ranging environment, right? You can see it's starting to break up and down and up and down. And notice how I don't trade it because what I want to see has not happened. And this is such an important detail. And if you guys learn to do this, you're going to fucking kill it, okay? So I'm going to keep waiting because you guys know if I'm bullish on this, which we are. We looked at the higher time frame. Sorry, we looked at the validation time frame and the context time frame and the tool, which told us to be long on this. And right now, none of that has been met. So we wait, right? And based on that video that I spoke about that you guys have seen now, right? We're waiting for, again, stage 1s and stage 2s to start to the top side before we can start getting involved. And as that begins, then we can look to trade it, right? So you can see we just joined and entered accumulation again. So again, right, the move is relatively clear. Price went sideways for a while, and from there went out of this stage 1 into a stage 2, a stage 1 into a stage 2. Now might start at stage 1, start at stage 2. So that's all good. We have the MAs beginning to line up where the 200 is starting to slope up. The 50 is as well. The 10 is coming up. So right now, all I really want to see is for price to come down and maybe make a nice little setup like this for me to take. And if that can occur, then again, I have an opportunity for a trade. So price comes down. Hopefully now, because of the institutional push, right? Hopefully it comes up and gives us a setup because that would be something that I'll be willing to take. But no, okay, it fails down. There we go. Okay, great. And again, despite me being wrong over 6 times now in this video that I'm making, right? In this back test, I've not lost a single dime, nor have I even set up a single trade yet because nothing has lined up with the kind of trade that I'm willing to take. So I wait and I keep waiting. And you can see that if you're a trader like this, well, you've now traded for about an hour or 2 hours and nothing has happened. Now you guys might be also seeing why I made my personal shift away from a lower time frame, because again, I can do less work now on a higher time frame than I did before, because when I did a lower time frame, I had to sit in front of the computer all day waiting for a setup. Again, same thing's happening. New accumulation begins to come in. And again, all I'd be waiting for is for now this reaccumulation to begin to play out, and I can get a trade around here likely, or maybe around here. But again, a certain set of things needs to happen for that trade to become valid. And if it happens, as it did right here actually, I'll be very much willing to take it. So this is actually a perfect trade. I missed it because I guess I played price too quickly. So I'll wait for the next one and then I'll take it. So this is a trade that would have already been working and break even, but that's all right. This is a trade we'll now take. We're buy stopping a high that's being created, which is the buy stop of a demand zone. Because remember, when price breaks beyond this, if it does, this creates a demand zone. And if it's true demand, oftentimes price will go, right? That's how markets move. That's how trends start. So I'll take a buy stop right over the high. I'll throw my stop just under the low, and I'll look to take it higher. Okay, and then we do get tapped in. So now we're in this trade. Now I'm waiting for rules to break even. And I went over these again in that video that I referenced earlier with depth. So I'm gonna go a little bit quicker, but I'm looking for strength into this market. No strength has come in yet. No strength has come in, I wait. If I take a loss, I take a loss. Let's record that loss in our trading. Look at all that work we did just to take a loss. Oh my gosh, trading sucks. And wait for the same thing to happen again, okay? So again, what am I waiting for? Price is still in beautiful accumulation. Price actually just entered distribution, as you can see right here, so we have to wait now. However, due to the actual independent first move of it and the fact that this could be easy reaccumulation, if price did something like this, I'd be willing to take a long through that high. Let's take a look. Falls down into distribution, not much to do, so now we wait, because now we're back at square one, and we wait. And notice how I can take a loss, and despite, look how much area I just watched and didn't take a single thing in. This is why rules are so important in your trading. So I wait for new accumulation to start. Okay, price breaks higher. Actually breaks higher very beautifully, right? Extremely powerful move, especially with this overall created higher high, higher low. So again, if we can somehow get like a breakdown and then a move higher like this, I'll take a buy stop, right? So again, I know exactly what I need to see for me to actually get an entry on this price. So beautiful move down. Hopefully it starts moving higher and then pauses. Let's see if it pauses. And it does. Oh my God, it's so perfect. And there's another buy stop point to take. Now you can see these little lines. These little lines are this show ICI in the mentfx structure premium, but it's also just a swing. Okay, that's all it is. So I'll buy stop that high because again, it's moving exactly as I would want to see it move. So I'll take it. And again, nothing gets validated. So I cancel it. And no buy gets taken despite the fact that I'm wrong, right? See if this shapes up again. Same thing. And it does. And it creates a high that wants to be buy stopped. And you can buy stop the high. You can protect within this little green box and look to take it. See if we can get tapped in. And it breaks down. So we cancel the trade. And once again, price has re-entered into distribution. So there's nothing for me to do. Okay? Price moves higher again and takes off. And then starts to go sideways. But look how choppy it begins to get. Now I wait for clear price action before I can trade it, right? Starts going sideways like right there, but again, it's not clear enough for me. What I usually want to see is for price to kind of give me a setup that's within the MAs very cleanly, okay? So that's what I'll wait for. And if price moves without me, that's okay with me, okay? That's part of the game that we play. Now price finally makes a deeper pullback to the MA and has now created this high to be buy stopped. So same thing goes. I'm happy to buy stop that, protect the low, and look to take it higher. Let's see if we can get tapped in. Notice the beauty of following rules. That's that high right there. Price never even gives you the entry and then falls down. So again, you're preventing losses by simply having rules behind when it's most viable and best to enter. So I wait for the same thing. And here you don't see the green line because these are equal. So I need to fix that in the bot, but this is perfect, right? This is a long I'm happy to take. I'll protect the overall low here. Actually, in this case, because the green box is here, I'll just protect at the MA and look to take it long if we can get tapped in, right? Because we're still in clear accumulation and price is just giving you the first good setup. And there we are, we're in. So now very simply, if price can make one more little push higher, I'll move to break even because that's my management rule. And at that point right there, I am happy to move my stop to break even because it's now taken out its own high. So there's no reason that it needs to return here. At the end of the day, this has now become a clear, basically demand that does not want to get traded back to, okay? Okay, and it begins to move higher, great. So we simply let it go because again, there's no reason for me to manage yet. I have nothing to manage. This is 1.5R, this is 2R. So actually at this point, as it's at 2R right here, I will manage a partial under this low. Okay, and I get taken out for 50% of my position for +1 at the 2.1, actually plus 1.05R. Okay, this is -1R over here. There we go. And the rest gets to stay on at break even. Let's see if we can get a move out of this or not. Okay, and price comes right back down, and that's it. That was the entire trade. Some trades are going to be very boring. Actually, most of them are. Only a select few are going to make crazy runs, if then. If they even do make a run, right? But this is what you can do. Now, again, could you do this on a larger account? No. Spreads, commissions, and slippage will eat you alive. But this is why I do the exact same thing personally, on a 5-minute, a 15-minute, I've worked my way up to a 4-hour. And currently I'm working on starting a hedge fund where I'm using, well, actually I'm not gonna talk about that much, but I'm working on creating a system out of a weekly because I'm just looking at things that are more longer term based and I can get involved with a very, very large capital base. That's all, okay? So now we wait for another setup and look what we have, another setup. Now at the moment, has price met the conditions of what we're usually used to seeing? It is bullish, it is moving beautifully to the bullish side. Okay, it's in accumulation, but at the same time, it's getting relatively choppy, right? So this is where you have to take consideration for yourself and ask yourself if stuff like this is worth trading. For me personally, at this point, based on the current results that I've had on this thing and the way that it's currently moved, I'm happy to take this because it hasn't proven to be too choppy yet. But if this starts to go and then fails, I will ignore it until it starts creating much cleaner action. Because again, you have to have rules around the way that a market is moving. You cannot just, you cannot do everything based on a small little pattern, right? So, okay, we do get tapped in. So now we simply wait for a reason to break even. So we wait for strength, right? No strength comes in, but then weakness instantly comes in and we didn't have a chance to break even though on a live account, I'd probably, you know what, don't worry about it. Let's just take the loss, okay? I'm not even gonna worry about it. Take the loss, call it a day, and then keep on moving, right? Because now you can see we have gone a little choppy. So even at that point, it was preventable, but it's okay. There's no problem with taking losses. Losses are great. Losses make you money, okay? Is what I love to say. But now price breaks down, starts a beautiful accumulation, and then makes a perfect buy here. I mean, I'm just gonna take this because I'm so used to seeing moves like this, and then they work out all the time. So I'm just gonna grab it. If it fails, then great, but it doesn't matter because again, this is how trading works. Okay, it does fail. Of course it fails. Why wouldn't it fail? And I'm gonna follow that up with actually the next one that's just got created right over it. And again, because this now creates 2 trades in one area, this is the last trade I will take in this area if it loses, of course, because I don't want to be trying multiple times in an area that I'm personally getting wrong, right? Let's just have a rule around that. So I do get tapped in, there we go. And I simply wait for a reason to break even now, right? And I take that loss. So now what happens is even if a good setup does occur, I will ignore it entirely until a new market condition has occurred. So I don't really care what it does here because I know that I'm going to lose. So I'm going to wait until now price has made a new move, a fresh move, moved away from whatever nonsense was happening here that I wasn't, you know, following clearly based on the fact that I just took a few losses, and wait for a new stage 1 that then starts a brand new move higher, which should happen around now. And then it fails. So it doesn't happen, and then I get to sit on the sidelines again and wait for it to occur in the future, right? And here we have it happening again. Price dips back down while in accumulation in a very clear stage 1, starts a stage 2 here, goes sideways for a stage 1, and at the moment, as you can see right now, is going sideways right over this high. So I buy stop the high, throw my stop under a low, and look to take it long. Doesn't tap me in, and taps me in. And now, again, I look for strength beyond the high to move to break even. Okay? Not enough for me actually, so I'll wait a little bit. It's okay if it returns now. So again, I oftentimes like to see strength that proves that price would not want to return. At the moment, I haven't got that, so I have to wait, and I get to take a loss because of the fact that I waited. And that's okay, because that's how trading works. And hopefully, as I'm doing this, a lot of you are learning that trading is not all sunshine and rainbows and you're just like making tons of money and driving in Lambos. Trading is actually just sitting there, following your rules over and over and over again, so you can grow your capital over the long run and outperform, well, everybody around you that's not doing the same thing, right? So again, it's happening again, but I'll wait for a little bit of a cleaner setup here, which is fine. Yep, that's perfectly fine. Let it come down a little if it can, just like this, and then make a setup. Yep, exactly what I want to see, right? Perfection. So that's something I would take with no issue whatsoever, and see if we can get tapped in. Okay, we get tapped in, and let's take an instant loss again, shall we? Nope. And then beautiful strength comes in. So there I'll move to break even, which means now that I have a prevented loss or a potential large win, which is exactly what you want to be doing as a trader. Okay. And it comes to take me out of break even. And we're back to square one. So you can see this day would be full of literally sitting on your ass doing nothing. You do have a beautiful setup right here. And again, nothing is like, this is very early in the trend. Nothing has proven that this does not want to move higher. So I'm going to give it a chance to move higher now. And if it doesn't want to, then we will find out very soon, right? And then it comes right down. So there's no setup. We cancel the setup and we wait for the next one, right? Comes up a little bit, goes sideways. And again, I'm not even going to draw the line. We're just going to put the buy in. See if we get tapped in. Breaks down, we cancel the setup. I'm gonna wait for it to come up a little, just like that. Buy stop the high. Put the stop onto the low. Repeat the process over and over again. Everything's still met, everything's in accumulation. It's moving very beautifully. There's no reason I can't be a trader here. I wait, the setup is actually still clear based on what the next candle does. So actually it's still clear. So I'm gonna leave that buy stop on. So again, just to demo, and I'm gonna increase the stop size. So, and again, that's not increasing risk. This is still all based on 1R, which is why all my losses are minus 1R. Very clean setup. Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably gonna create another one, but if another one happens right above here, then I might be able to, okay, cool. So I get just tapped in, great. So now we get tapped into our trade. Now again, similarly, I will wait for a rule to break even. Okay, so price begins to enter. Now if it breaks through this high, I will break even. There we go, we get to move to break even. Break even on that. Now again, just looking for strength before I manage, but nope, just get a break even on that, nothing else to do. Great. Trading is a fun experience, isn't it, guys? Look how many Lambos I can buy. But trust me, the Lambos will come because the money comes with the process. And as long as you're following the process, you are guaranteeing that over time, not the day to day, but over time, especially, where is it? Over time, you are guaranteeing that you will make money. This is all we're doing right now, is taking break evens and losses, because that's what makes money in the long run. Beautiful. Yep. I was gonna say right through the high, same thing. Accumulation met. Everything moving in accumulation just started moving higher. Perfection. Move to break even. Move a 50% to the low of a candle. Is that at least 2RR? It is. Great. Move the next to the low of the candle. Take out 50% at 3.13, which puts us at plus 1.5 R. Leave the rest at break even. Now, as it makes these moves higher, I can move to the newly created line. So you can see there's a most recent low created right there. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. You can see the most recent created low right there. And then there's this one right here, which is the second most recent. And in this case, because the second most recent is just at the 50, I'll move it to this one right here. It's as simple as that. Just using very simple rules for this. Okay, so you start getting a really heavy push higher, and our stop loss is still down here. So you have to make consideration of whether or not you want to move another stop here. If we moved another stop to the most recent move higher, that would give us an extra 1.5 R, which I'm happy to do because otherwise our stop is still down here. So I'm okay with that. And we take that off, so we make another 1.5 R. And the rest still remains right here. Now we wait for the same things to happen. We wait for a new break higher, or we simply do nothing. And actually, as we're doing that, another beautiful setup begins to emerge, right? So just through this high. Okay, so we get buy stopped in. We wait for some strength. There it is. We get to move to break even on this one. And then what's beautiful is that as this low gets created right there, you can see it, hold on. You can see it, this little guy moved up. We get to move this stop loss to this low, which is phenomenal. And now we get to manage this trade. Okay, this one ends up being a break even. There we go. And this one is still going, so we're good to maintain this move. And we get stopped out of our overall position right there at 5, sorry, at we'll call it 5, but because we took one partial, it's 2.5, and because we took another partial, it's 1.25, and we'll just make it 1.2 because it's a little bit less. Okay, great. Is the end of the day here yet? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. No, it's only 3:40 p.m. Okay, so we'll keep going until probably around 5 p.m., which is rollover. Okay, so let's see if we can get another setup now. And then we can trade beyond that, but right now we can't. So we're still in accumulation. We're still moving in beautiful accumulation. Price breaks down, enters distribution. We can take a look back at our validation time frame, see where we're at. So that would be the 2-minute. And again, just sailed that higher nicely and then started breaking down. 2 minutes still looks very good for longs. There's nothing stopping it from continuing to move higher. So what I would say is that you could wait for it to start pausing a little bit higher. So we'll wait a little bit, just like this. As it starts pausing here, maybe you can push a little higher, just like this. Now I can look at a 15-second for a potential entry. And then as I move here, you can see we're still in distribution. And we haven't really started, and we just started accumulation. Isn't that interesting? Okay, cool. So now we'll wait for a reason to get involved, and we go back into distribution. And we'll go back to the 2-minute. So we get to wait for the 2 minute to start shaping up. Now what time is it here? 8:76. This is already 6 p.m. So we actually just passed rollover, and now we're starting to come up again. So we can go back to our 15-second. And again, watch for a good context to trade it. Right now, we're not in that good context. We've had an accumulation play out. Prices began moving. But you can see we haven't had a clear stage 1, stage 2, or clear action yet. So we'll wait. Is this rollover? 876. Okay. And clear action is somewhat back. Moves higher into clean accumulation. Pause it a little bit. I can't tell if this was rollover or not. What time are we at here? Now in New York. Rollover 876. 18. Yeah, so rollover did happen. Or this is the rollover right here. Okay, either way, let's just wait a little bit. It's okay. Even if I missed the trade, it's okay. Because it's very ugly action anyway. So wait for accumulation to come in. Okay, well, you can see the MAs are now becoming very choppy. Not much to do. So I'll go back to the 2-minute and wait a little bit. So 2 minutes actually still pretty clear. So we can go back to the 15-second. Yeah, and the 15-second is just ugly right now. So we'll wait for clean action to start again, right? You can see the difference a little bit. Because now we're in distribution. So we get to ignore price entirely because, well, what am I going to do in price action like this? And then it starts breaking down. So let's go back to 2-minute. And you can see the 2-minute here, right? Even though it's still bullish, it's having that moment where it's bearish inside of it, right? So I don't want to follow that until it starts to shape back up. Let's see if I can do that. Right? And it finally starts coming up a little. So now we can go back to our 15-second and see if there's a reason to trade it. So here we go. We just skipped all of this shit because we have rules to define when we should be trading a trend. And then all of a sudden, we have accumulation play out. Price breaks higher, goes through reaccumulation, starts moving higher, pauses. And now if we can get a setup, once again, I will 100% be behind this action, just like this. Perfect kind of buy stop. A perfect kind of buy stop. Just like the others, but a perfect kind of buy stop. Moves higher, we move to break even. It's 1.1, so we're still waiting. That's 2.6, so we'll move a stop loss just under this low. We get stopped out for half our position at 2.65, which makes it plus 1.3. The rest gets to move with the ranges that get created or with new strength. Right now there's nothing to do, so we wait. Oh, and we get stopped out at break even. Perfectly okay. And you can see how if you have a higher based RR system, then you made a very good amount of money there, but that's okay because, well, that's how trading is, guys. Goes through this new, very clean little reaccumulation, but doesn't really create a setup that's super clear to me just yet. and then makes the clearest setup of all time to me. So we'll grab the buy stop through that high, we'll protect some of that low. I mean, honestly, I can just protect the low of this down candle. I have no problem with that. And we get tapped in. Yeah, we get tapped in. So we wait for price to show us strength, and we get to move to break even. You have an option here to wait for one more strength candle, but I'm okay with moving to break even here just because this was your initial strength, and this strength followed through with that. So really, price should not return here. We'll see what happens though. Okay, well, price continues to move higher. Now this is 1.3R, this is 3.6R, and then between it is 2.78R. So when this kind of thing happens, I just move my stop to, or 50% partial to this area right here. Let's see if we hit it. We don't. Now we get to move our stop to this low. Now as we get a little pause, I'll just move my candle to the low. So again, as I do this, my 50% partial to the low, as I do this, I'm aware that this is gonna stop me out, or very likely gonna stop me out, but I'm doing it because I wanna protect the gains that are currently had on this market, right? Or it can just keep going and I get to protect even more. 50% is set right there. 50% is set right there. 50% is set right here. 50% is set right here. Again, as I do this, I'm doing it with the assumption that I'm about to get taken out and that it should take me out. And that takes me out at 8.5 for half, of course, which is plus 4.25. Yep. And the rest gets to stay at break even until new strength comes in. Okay. So price does begin to move higher. I simply move my stop loss to the most recent double low, which is this one right here. And then this one gets created and it's the same exact thing. So I'll just leave it here in case price wants to play around here for a while. What the fuck? Okay. And then price just decides to go just haywire. So again, I have a stop loss protected right here, which protects around 7RR, but price at the moment is up around 15RR. And if I just throw another one behind the up candle, we're looking at a gain of around 3.5R. So I'll do that and I'll leave it there. Okay. And I get stopped out of another half right there. So that's 14.7, which is, we'll just call it 14. Half of that is 7. And because I took a half, that's 3.5 plus 3.5. And the rest again moves with the double low rule, right? There's a low here and a low here. So I'll just move it here for now because it lines up with the MAs. And I'm just looking for potentially, if I can, a bigger move out of this now. Okay. Okay, so price actually starts setting up another very, very nice move and setup right here. So we'll grab that as well. Let's take a look at the 2-minute, make sure it's clear. Oh, well, I guess we now know it's gonna come down, I think, right? But the 2-minute at this time was not clear. You can see price was way up here. Stage one and stage 2 all the way up and never even came back. So even though on a 15-second it never got validated, you'll see it just goes down. Right? There was no trade to be had here anyway, which is great because, well, we save money. And our stop loss does get hit at 7.9. But because we took off a partial, let's just make it 8, just to make it simple. 8, because we took a partial, it's 4. And because we took another partial, it's 2. And we'll just round down and make it plus 1.5, right? Super simple. I'm just rounding down to make it very fair. And we'll just keep going. See if we get another setup here. Let's wait till the 2-minute starts nice. Yeah, so now it's finally started a nice pullback. So a nice stage 1. And you can see we're still in this very large range here, but it has the ability to keep reaching. There's no reason it can't. So again, back to stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1. Can easily anticipate this as everything is still moving in tandem with what we want to see. And again, notice, compare the areas I'm trading with the areas I've traded, even in this video alone. You're going to start to see that, you know, I trade the same good context over and over and over again, and I just do it on the time frames that I personally want to be a trader on, right? So we wait. Accumulation starts in this market again. Very beautiful accumulation. gives me a high to buy stop. I mean, in all honesty, like this is a relatively good setup in my opinion. Even though it looks a little weird from what I'm used to, it's still a good one. I've seen these happen a lot, and I've seen them be very nice when there are accumulations like this. They come right over, pause for a sec, and then take off. So I'll take the buy stop through that high. And we do get buy stopped in. And yeah, just like I said, right? I've seen them work, and we'll take a nice -1 right there. No problem. And we'll do the same thing. Again, we'll wait. And price enters distribution, so we wait for new accumulation, and hopefully price starts reaching up into accumulation to give us a setup. Instead, it falls down. We'll take a look at the 2-minute now, because there's not much to do right now until it starts showcasing that price wants to move higher, and it does. So move back down to the 15-second, take a look at where we are. And again, we're in distribution right now. However, a break of this will likely create accumulation due to the multi-tiered back and forth. However, we haven't gone sideways enough yet, so I will wait. And now we've started to go sideways for a little bit of time here. This, I think, just based on the way I'm looking at this, I'm used to seeing price kind of flush out a bit and then make a setup, so I'll wait for that to occur. Okay, nice flush out and then make a setup, hopefully. Just so beautiful, you just can't make it up, man. Also, I'm so tired filming this video. It's 4:40 a.m. Oh my gosh, I gotta go to sleep. Let's finish this up in a sec. So we get tapped in and we get tapped out for another beautiful -1, and we get to return to waiting for the same thing to occur, right? We're still in accumulation. Price begins to go sideways. This did not get too choppy. Price did enter distribution though with this break. However, this initial break here was very large, and this is what accumulation tends to look like. And now this can act as a reaccumulation because of that to make a new higher high. So I will actually look to take a buy stop through this high, protect the low, look to take it long, and see if we can get tapped in. Just breaks down. Based on how it moves now though, I'll keep this position active because it's still clear. No, it just breaks down. Cancel that and wait for the next one. So again, same thing. It's just all setting up here over and over and over again. I'm just not going to do it this time. Yeah, I mean, when it repeats like this a few times, it tends not to set up and then goes sideways for a while, and then maybe we can get an accumulation out of this. So again, a lot of back and forth. Becomes accumulation, but you can see where it is, just stuck in this range, so we get to ignore it for now. What's going on? Oh, are we in live price? Or did my internet die? It could be any. Dun dun dun. Okay, well, I guess we're reopening TradingView really quick here. Let's go ahead and reopen that. I think we got to live price though. I think that's why it bugged out or something. Or we just broke the entirety of TradingView in one go. And we're back. Okay, great. So, oh wow, we weren't done at all and we just missed this move? Are you kidding me? Okay, well, there's just insane opportunity out of this, but that's okay. Yeah, just disgusting what we just missed, but that's okay. Let's add it up. Given our mentfunding account and see what we've reached on our mentfunding account on a $100,000 basis, okay? So let's go through it. Let's do the losses: -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -6, -6, -7, -8, -8, and then we had this beautiful run that we're not in. Okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now again, we also got to know that we took wins as well, so you would have never reached any of the actually, even with -8, you don't reach the max loss rule on this, which is great. And then we have the winners. So I'm going to open a calculator on my other screen here, and I'm just going to add them up. So you have 1.05 plus 1.5 plus 1.2 plus 1.5 plus, what do we got? Plus 1.3 plus 4.25 plus 3.5 plus 1.5 minus, oh wait, we did the minus ones. And that's it. And plus 20 for whatever would have happened. No, I'm just kidding. So that's all there is, okay? And the answer, no way that's right. Oh, okay, it's right, okay. So just so I can show you, 15.8, we made 15.8. I thought we made 15.8 overall, but I forgot the 8 losses. Okay, it's fine. Plus 15.8, which overall works out to plus 7.8 R made in one day, right? And then assuming, like we said, the 1R equals $500, we have this times the $500 that we're trading per trade, which is $3,900 made on that day. Now again, this is not taking into account commissions or slippage or anything like that, but it's a demonstration of how opportunities are made available to you. And now please notice the areas that we just tested and traded, and then please ask yourself if you think whether or not, actually leave a comment, do you think whether or not I followed the same rules that I followed here and here, if I kept following the same rules here and throughout this, do you think I could get a trade or multiple trades that started to amount to larger than this number? And very simply, you will start to learn and see firsthand how and why I make my money. Every time I go higher on my account, the reason my equity curve grows is because I take losses and wins. Okay, now I'm way too tired. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a whatever the fuck below, but like click that like, the subscribe, whatever. But most importantly, join up with the team. It will serve you well. You'll get to see stuff like this 24/7, interact with me, interact with some of the coolest members in the world, and continue to grow. Otherwise, if you're ready to take your own skill to the next level, it's right here, mentfunding.com. Check it out. Some really cool stuff coming too. The reason I don't personally trade a lower time frame anymore is because my account has continued to grow, and as my account grows, scalability becomes a little bit of an issue, which means that I need to up the time frames that I trade. So I up the time frames and I increase the amount of things I look at because I make more money now for doing less work. And at the same time, because as you get better and better at trading, you start realizing that being a good trader is more so about buying time back for yourself rather than spending more time doing something. However, the beautiful thing about this is that a lot of people that are watching this, maybe even you, or maybe you're already profitable and you just want to see what's available or see the fractality of price. The beautiful thing is that a lot of people have a very small account. This is usually going to be an account under 200K, under 100K. Now I know for some people that might sound like a very large account. That's perfectly okay, but theoretically, play this little story out in your mind for a second. If you're an extremely profitable trader, or you found at least profitability within your trading career at any point, even if you have $100 to your name right now, the reality is that within 5 years, it is very likely that you will compound and grow that account through either multiple means, so through funneling money into your actual trading account from doing other things, or then actually trading, but that account will compound itself to a much higher multiple. And theoretically, if you want to be doing trading as a full-time profession, as a full-time thing, and doing it, as an actual job, then you are all guaranteed at some point in your career to hit $1 million in equity and capital under your belt, which is very doable, very possible. However, many don't achieve it because, well, one, most people lose in the markets, and two, well, you can go over the reasons as to why that is, but the main reasons is that many people don't treat trading like they do any other skill set in the world, or they are not even equipped to deal with any skill set on a high level in the world. So when they come to trading, they have the same fate play out. But very easily, if you are someone that is going to be that is very serious about this entire space and wants to trade for a living, then your account will grow to a higher number, very likely higher than $1 million at some point in your trading career. Usually, from what I've seen, in about 3 to 10 years of trading, you are guaranteeing with a good system to grow your account to at least $1 million. Now again, this video is not a guarantee, but it is just what I've seen, personal experience, whatever you want to call it. So